Alright, it's time for more fun with Clip Studio Paint. I'm going to do the next 3 panels in my storyboard for 12 Panel Comics. You can get more information at 12panelcomics.com, and you can see the first 3 panels here using this link. Now, here I am. I'm going to draw a picture of a person seeing something, specifically a robot bat, flying around in the sky, and he's going to be, he's supposed to be using his radio to communicate with another character. And, he's just got this goofy radio on his sleeve. I wasn't trying to do anything miraculous with that. But the point is that I need to figure out, how to compose this image. I need to, think about where the camera would ideally be, the camera eye, you might say. And so I did it like an over-the-shoulder shot so that we could see what he was seeing and kind of get an idea that he was talking into this communication device on his sleeve. And I was really quite impressed with my ability to capture this composition with one sketch. Overall, as I mentioned in the other videos, I'm kind of on the fence about this whole project. I'm really proud of myself. I'm very impressed with what I'm doing. But on the other hand, I'm also very disappointed that, this is not at all what it's, this is, and I've said this before, and I keep saying it because what I'm trying to do with these videos is I'm sort of trying to, communicate with other artists who might be struggling with their art. Here I am, I'm doing what looks like really nifty work, but probably the style of it might not be something you're interested in. Well, let me tell you, it's not something I'm interested in either. I'm just doing what I'm capable of, I've got a long way to go before I can really push the boundaries of coolness, you know what I mean? I'm not even scratching the boundaries of coolness. This looks like illustrations out of a children's book. I realize that, and I'm not entirely happy about that. But I'm not going to sit here, I'm not going to give up, you know what I mean? I got to continue, because I spent too many years giving up. Like, oh, it's not coming out the way I want, I'll just stop and don't draw for like months and months at a time. And then, anyway, here I am in the coloring phase of this panel, and you'll notice I keep jumping back and forth because I'm grabbing the colors from the other panels, so that's why it's jumping around, jumping around, jumping around. Almost done with this one, and again, very proud of it. I really like it. This style is weird, which that's part of what I like about it. It's a little odd, It's kind of spooky looking. All the panels in this are spooky looking. That's one of the things I do kind of like. Okay, so here's the next panel. Now this, I had to draw a line of sight for the gun, and here again, I'm just blazing through this sketch. Really, really happy with myself with this. He's using a gun to, he's taking aim at the robot with the gun. So it's another a really rough sketch, but I'm not making a lot of changes. I'm getting right to it, going right into the, well, in this case, the penciling stage. I can't remember, I guess I'll find out in a minute, if I actually do a second pencil stage. It looks like I'm going to, because it's very rough right now. Again, I've got my 3 stages. My really rough sketch, yeah, see, I'm replacing the second rough sketch, or the explorational rough sketch with the, I'm replacing one sketch with another. Now I'm actually penciling, and I would call it inking, but I'm not doing any inking in these panels. So, this came out pretty impressive. The composition is nice, and the objective is clear. He's going to shoot at this thing flying in the sky, and his form is not bad either. Especially for a cartoony type of character, it's not bad at all. Coloring phase, back and forth. Get all the colors. This is the really tedious part, but you know, coloring's tedious. Do you like my ums? I don't like them, but what can I do? I'm just narrating over these speed paints. So the coloring, you kind of have to be patient, you know, because once you stop being patient, you really get into trouble and you make mistakes and you find yourself stuck in a situation where you have to repaint the whole damn section again. So you've got to be patient with that. When I get to the rocks, it's very interesting because these rocks came out the best, and one of the reasons they came out the best is I realized my light angle. I had been painting the rocks sort of like with really ridiculous light values, and the angle of the lights was not right. Anyway, I got them right and consistent in that photo. Now here we come to the big trouble. This is supposed to be a composition of a monster grabbing a person off of this animal. And you can see I'm already on my third sketch, or is this the fourth? And this is the basic composition that I'm trying to go with. But this monster really started giving me trouble. And this just goes to show that I need a lot more practice on the human form itself. You know, here I am, I'm sketching again. Now I've sped this up. You know, this is going really, 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 really fast. And some of these sketches aren't bad, and I seem to be getting somewhere. But another problem that I was having was this whole idea of this monster and what this monster is supposed to be. You know, see this, you know, like how is that supposed to look right? It doesn't. Now you can see I'm drawing boxes because I'm really trying to figure out how to fit the form into the geometric shape that he would exist in. I've talked a little about that in other videos. When I really learn what I'm doing, you know, I'll do tutorials about that type of thing. But you see, I'm trying to use everything that I've learned to try and develop this monster who basically looks, you know, his form is humanoid, to say the least. And I'm just getting carried. Like I really am realizing that I just don't know how to compose this not his figure per se, but his pose. He's, you know, now I'm not even worrying about the composition of the panel. I'm just working on, like, how do I even go for this pose? And now I'm getting carried away with the face, and I'm just like, I'm not even working on the panels anymore at this point. But that's okay, because, you know, I needed to do some drawing just to get it out of my system, just to keep drawing, because this panel was like hopeless. I mean, we're talking about 3 hours at this point, something like that. So, you know, a little message to my future self when I look at this. Let's see, what else is there to say? Something sort of important. Oh yeah, here I'm going to try it one more time. I'm going to sketch this thing out. I've done some, you know, I'm really trying to get the horse creature. I'm trying to get him down. I mean, everything about this composition gave me issues. Everything about this, all the poses for this was just like a nightmare. And I was really disappointed. In fact, some of this is like, you know, the next day. Anyway, what happened was, on top of, you know, this not going well, I also realized that I talked about where I came up with this idea of these wacky ideas I have here for this video. I mean, these panels, this little story. And the long and short of it is, even though I'm trying to make a point about an existing story, I realized that what I was really doing was almost going overboard in staying true to the original story. And then I realized, you know, there's a little message for you. This monster is all wrong. We're on a beach, and I eventually finally decided that that my approach to this monster was wrong, and so I abandoned it. And you'll see that in just a few minutes, I started committing to this drawing, and this is about the time I decided, you know what, this is ridiculous. This monster isn't even right. So I replaced the monster with something a lot more, what's the word? There's more messages. Something much more appropriate. Well, it looks like, you see how much work I did to this before I changed it? Still trying to get everything in its place. So I'm still trying to work him out. Now here's where I said forget it. This guy's gonna go. I'm gonna draw a more appropriate creature for this scene. I'm also trying to get this animal right. This took me a while. Notice how he looks completely different from the creature in the first panel. And that was one of the things you gotta watch out for. You design a creature, you gotta make sure you have an idea of what he actually does look like. So here I'm looking at the other picture and thinking, this thing, it doesn't look anything like that creature. And I don't think I really did a great job capturing its likeness for this image, but I certainly made an attempt. Far cry from the original sketch. You can see I've got this octopus creature coming out of the sand. That's where we're at now, and that's where I've given up on this humanoid monster. Because A, he wasn't coming out the way I envisioned at all, and I just didn't, the dynamics of the panel wasn't there, but simply because I couldn't capture the pose. So I said, you know what I'll do this much more appropriate monster for the whole story that I've got going, and it'll also improve the composition. And I think that my hunch was correct, and I'm happy with the results of which you will see as soon as this time lapse completes. Anyway, here I am basically committing. I'm still going to be making, I think I'm done with the change. I think I'm basically committing to this. And so I think we will see the rest of this out, and I'll just stand by, and if anything... Oh, here I am using vector tools to create the arm, simply because I just, eventually you're going to get to the point where you experiment with everything in Clip Studio Paint, simply because you can. You should be able to use these tools to simplify the processes. And so I did. Again, this angle, this pose, this whole composition, very difficult. I'm surprised I was able to pull it off, but keep in mind, it did take me, a total of 5 or 6 hours to do this panel, and over the course of 2 or 3 days, I would say 3 days, it took me to do this panel. 2 or 3 sessions, let's call it that. And as I said, you're watching clips that were originally, over 60 minutes, compressed down to 1 minute. You can't see the different clips. I've edited it all. I know what I'm doing. I used to be a professional editor. I'm an all-around artist, so you can't see what I'm talking about, but you know, you're looking at 5 or 6, well, you're looking at a total of probably 12 hours of drawing in this video, condensed down to, what we're talking about, under 20 minutes? Which is still a long video, I realize, but anyway, here I am. Now I really see this starting to take shape, and now I'm really beginning to be, you know, happy with it. And so, yeah, I'm happy with it, and I'm committed to it, and I'm going to get it done. And this project is due, as I'm speaking now, this project is due in 4 days. I don't know how I'm going to get 6 more panels done in 4 days. I certainly don't anticipate coloring all 6 panels in 4 days. I guess we'll just see what happens. I think, although I really enjoyed doing the sand here, and it was a little tedious, but you know, I'm impressed with the results. I achieved what I wanted to achieve with the sand here. Anyway, I said in the last video that you're gonna see my drawing improve markedly throughout the course of these panels, and I think theoretically that would be true, but I'm gonna be under the gun over the next 4 days. I mean, I have to go to work, and you know, these sessions are gonna get hectic, and I'm not sure how good the rest of these panels are gonna come out. But I'm not worried about it. This is just a silly project. This is a project to get. This is a project for the sake of accomplishment, not a project that means anything. This story means nothing to me. This is not a story. This is an excuse to do this assignment, to participate in the 12-panel comics project. Because last year I said I'd participate, and I didn't. I didn't finish the panels. I started them, but I fussed over them too much. I never got it done. I gotta get this done. But even if I don't get this done, you know, really, I'm really impressed with these panels because trying to draw these things, the old me would have just given up. As an example, you see down at his tail, you see how it's messy there? Well, I made the mistake of committing to that by mistake simply because I was rushing it. So I had to really work to fix his tail because I screwed it up. But that's what I was talking about when coloring. I changed his eyes. I still wanted him to look goofy. He doesn't look the way he's supposed to look like a mindless fish creature. He's supposed to have like a clueless look in his eye. And he just kind of looks, I don't know. I didn't capture that well. Not the way I did on the first panel in which he appears. Anyway, I'm going to paint this octopus creature. And, you know, I'm almost done. And that's great. And it's all good. Even if I don't complete this assignment, I'm going to be really happy with what I did because, as I was saying before I interrupted myself, you know, these drawings, as I said, I'm really happy with the fact that I've just committed to finishing them because, you know, I ran into some trouble and they took some time and they took real effort. And real effort was something I have not been putting into my art for years. Just, it was one of my problems. Here it is. All 6 panels and 6 more to go.